Good morning, everybody. I'm going to test my new lights. I made some changes, so I guess it's going to be enough light in this room. I didn't want to do a video right now. I'm working. This is a real live update at Saturday morning. Man, I've been getting robbed. I just got robbed again. It's a terrible thing. So the light is working. I'm working on the message, the Sunday sermon I did last week with my daughter. And it's kind of like going up a week late at this point. I used to replace the things that were stolen. It takes money and it takes time, and I have limited amounts of time. So some of the things I've replaced have now been stolen just now. But those are things I need because I can't function without things. And you know, when I used to have a friend on the street, my dog tore up everything yesterday. So I had a friend on the street years ago, but he was known as a thief. But it upset me because one time I was giving him a ride, and I had bought I smoke, and I bought 3 packs of cigarettes. Just bought them and put them in the glove compartment of the car. And I used to do meetings, and I knew some of them would steal, not all of them. So when I got out of the car, sure enough, I dropped him off, and there was 1 pack left. He figured, well, then I knew, oh, he took the 2 packs. He stole other things before. So but I still took him to the meetings. I almost got into it with him a few times. He stole from some other people. But what it makes, I understand when people continually do those things and they have addiction or whatever, but it makes you always feel uncomfortable, like with the person in the vehicle, or you're always watching out. And that's an element, I think, that a lot of other people that have done that throughout their life. I had a friend years ago that we went to visit his parents here in Padre Island. And we were out there, and I guess the stepdad was going to come home, and the mother said, you know, you can't stay here, and because he had that history. And he told me, he was a friend of mine, and I trusted him here, and that friend never stole from me. But he said, you know, John, that was many years ago, but they won't forgive. But maybe he had families that deal with those things. And then you replace everything. So it's just it's a drain. And I was not feeling well yesterday. And I thought if I could just rest for 10 minutes. And I was not able to rest for 10 minutes. And then I went to see my friends. Made that video yesterday. So there's times and seasons for everything in life. Everything in life. I had rearranged some things here. And I thought I'll rearrange a few things. And then I went back to putting them back the other way. After I rearranged it, I said no. And then I just moved a few some of my verses and all, put them in another room. And then it took me like a few hours before I couldn't even think straight. This was even before the other stuff happened. And I also see some of my friends in various situations in life. Right on the edge, desperate, things are falling apart, desperate, and some for their own fault, some not for their own fault. And then the next day, and they're going to collapse, then they make it through, they're going to collapse, they're going to make it through. And I'm not condemning any of them. And I think for your whole life until the day you die, it's going to be like that. So, and the teaching I'm doing, that I'm reviewing is, some of it is from Luke 2 and Simeon. There are 2 prophecies that go about Christ in Luke chapter 2. That's kind of the teaching I'm working on. But Simeon, the old man that was worshiping God, serving God, and then when Mary brought Jesus to dedicate him at the temple, he takes the baby and says, this is the one. God revealed to me that I would not die until I saw the Lord's salvation, the Christ. And this old man doesn't say he's a prophet, but possibly was. And he says, now I've seen it. Let your servant depart in peace. He says, look at that. Isn't that so interesting? Now I have seen the promise God made to Israel, this Luke 2. And he says, now let your servant depart in peace. And then he looks at Mary. And he said, but this child is set for the rising and fall of many in Israel, and a sword will pierce through your own heart also. And then there's this lady, Anna, a prophetess, and she spoke of the same thing to those that were looking for salvation. And so that's coming up. So this Saturday, in the midst of all the things, I have to go. I don't have the money to buy the things that I need. I have to get that thing again. That was just stolen again, which I got before. The other one was maybe 100. This one was 80. I don't know. I have to get in this, so I got to go in debt to keep replacing things. Well, that's the way it is, John. Yeah, there's a time where we die, and then that's done. You say it's done. I've finished everything I got to do. If you know. So for those of you that are going through all the things that you're going through, this is not our home. This place. Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. Politics, John, that gets you. It's not politics. It's seeing this. It's seeing the whole manipulation of the system. That's what I see that makes me upset about it. The top world news. I almost made a video last night. The top world news was what? Breaking news. This man that worked for Trump, Porter, he had 2 ex-wives that accused him of beating them or domestic abuse. It was terrible, serious. That's not top world news. It's and the media is voyeuristic. And look, they do that with even the cop shootings. And you know that I don't defend abuses when those things take place. But even this last week they showed some, and sometimes they show them, and it's really not, sadly it's a cop officer shot somebody. We've had some that were also killed this last week. Tragically, I think 2 in Denver, and that didn't make top news. What was top news was there was some guy that worked for Trump that his past ex-wives or whatever accused him of domestic abuse, which nobody justifies. But that is not breaking top world scandal news. So they are voyeuristic because the other things they played was watch this video. Some kid, there was a shark in the water or a great thing or a bear stuck in a car. You're like the National Enquirer. And then I see them. What they're doing is they're not reporting. CBS, Channel 10 in our area, but CBS does okay. I didn't realize it. I usually have ABC, sometimes NBC. I like Lester Holt. But CBS was good. And I switched to CBS World News. They covered the Porter issue. They covered it, but it wasn't top world news. As a matter of fact, they seem to, whoever's the nightly anchor for that, they seem to do okay. But the other one, particularly ABC, top world breaking news now for 3 days. There was some person who worked for Trump, probably shouldn't have got it, and then they said, will Kelly resign? He's willing to step down. John Kelly, Chief of Staff. What a huge disgrace to society these people are. So I had all types of things, and now, okay, what else is robbed? I gotta go see. Might be other stuff that I just checked. I need that thing. I gotta go get one now today. I don't have the money for it. So I get tired of it. I'm done. I'm finished.